Wilson listed as quarterback one on, of course, every team's got to put out these dopey unofficial depth charts before their preseason games. Wilson listed as one, but Fields is going to start the preseason opener against the Texans.
I still think they're going to start Wilson, but, if they start Fields, so be it. Like, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I know this. I think they're both talented.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
What is the ceiling for this kid? Now that he's got the money, and we saw something click with him, what is the ceiling for a Jordan Love in this Green Bay team?
Deepest pass target group in the National Football League, 2 stud tight ends. They're legit 5 deep at receiver, 7 bona fide pass targets. Come on, man. This guy could be a stud. Top 5 quarterback.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Say the under has the correct juice to the 6.5 win total for the New York Giants. It's a losing season. It's a bad season in the greater New York area. Is Brian Daboll and is Joe Shane back next year?
As a Giants fan, what are you looking forward to? Absolutely nothing. You're hoping like the Yankees make a long enough run so you can forget about the Giants.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes! Are you ready?
Let's go!
That's what champions do.
Game time decisions. We're live with you right here on SportsGrid. I'm Kevin Walsh. We're loaded for you on this Tuesday. It's a Dinger Tuesday. We're going to be looking for some bombs. You know that already. We're going to have Tom Vecchio stop by, get some home run picks for him as well on a loaded Tuesday slate of Major League Baseball action. But the road to football is well underway. We're going to talk everything going on, the latest in the NFL, because we had big news today involving the Minnesota Vikings. J.J. McCarthy needing surgery, which is, I imagine, not only going to keep him out of contention to start for this football team in week 1. What if this knocks J.J. McCarthy's rookie season out? And I'm not saying that necessarily things are that bad, but if you're Minnesota, are you rushing J.J. McCarthy onto that field week 6, week 7, week 8? Now, time will tell. But that is, of course, a really fascinating story. We'll get into that. And we're going to talk with Mike Blewett a little bit later on about Brandon Ayuk, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Those rumors continuing. It feels like Ayuk could very well be moved, and a treat for the people. My man and yours, Joe Lisi, is in the building. The AP Top 25 is out. What, if any, insight can we take from that Top 25 and put it to the upcoming college football season? He will help us find the answer to that question. But baseball still, for now, is where we begin, and we begin with the wild card races. I thought it was appropriate to kind of dig in, dive in, and figure out what is up for grabs. Now, the Yankees sit here in a wild card spot. The expectations through the odds and through many is the Yankees or the Orioles will occupy this slot right here, 20 games over 500 yet in this mix. And the other will not just win the AL East, they'll end up the number 1 seed in the American League. But underneath that is a fascinating race. The Kansas City Royals trying to get into the mix here with a Minnesota Twins team that's currently in that mix who's trying to hunt down the Cleveland Guardians. We might circle back here in 2 weeks, and all of a sudden you see the Guardians pop up. The Boston Red Sox trying to make a dent. The Seattle Mariners are right now on the outside looking in, but we know that Seattle is in the hunt right now for the American League West. So all of a sudden, you might see the Astros pop here on the out-of-reach graphic. This is an important race because the recent baseball postseason has shown us all that matters is getting in. So if all of a sudden the Royals bust in with Cole Reagans, Seth Lugo, and one of baseball's best in Bobby Witt Jr., maybe they can make a run at this thing. This is all going to matter. Some notable games today from the American League wild card race. It's going to, I think, be appropriate to bring up the Yankees because they lost yesterday as a minus 350 favorite. A few weeks back, I was on here with Consig, and we were looking at the White Sox. They'd still been going through that losing streak, and I said they would take one off the Yanks and one off the Astros. Job done. I don't imagine Chicago can take two off of New York. But one thing that is fascinating, the righty going tonight for Chicago, Cannon, had been nightmarish against left-handed bats. He's really found a rhythm here. If you had to stack them side by side over the last 30 days, 45 days, you might argue the White Sox have a pitching advantage here. There's a part of me that thinks if I'm playing this game, I'm playing it under the 9. I am sure people will look for Soto and Judge on a Dinger Tuesday. Kansas City and Minnesota is the bigger game when we talk about going for an AL wild card race. Dog price here on Seth Lugo, which, of course, is always going to jump off the page. But Seth Lugo has, to some degree, come back to reality. Not that he is a target fade against, but we've seen it within the American League Cy Young odds. For a while, he felt like the other guy who could contend alongside Tariq Skubal on today's slate against the Seattle Mariners at home, a favorite, or even potentially contend when we take a look at Corbin Burns of the Baltimore Orioles. Baltimore is one of your first games on today's slate. They get in the mix going up against those Washington Nationals. Trevor Rogers, who they acquired at the deadline, is going to get that baseball. So those are a couple of key spots right now with the American League race. Let's talk NL. My goodness, this is important, man. First of all, the Arizona Diamondbacks, I almost don't know what to do here. I think I was the last person alive to realize how well they were playing. The books were not slow to it. They were respecting that team consistently in the market. And here they are now, 4 clear of the Atlanta Braves and down here with the New York, or 4 clear of the New York Mets. But, I mean, they're in an excellent spot, Arizona. And then it just serves as a reminder, this team was in the World Series last year. A couple of injuries popping up right now. Ketel Marte not involved tonight, which is a shame because on a Dinger Tuesday, Ketel Marte, if a lefty's on the mound, is checking boxes. Unfortunately, we don't expect to see him go for Arizona. The Padres are outrageous. They win every game they play all of a sudden. And that staff has juice, you know it. Dylan Cease, if Musgrove's back in action there as well. They're not even with Fernando Tatis at the moment. Jackson Merrill looks like a star. He would be a Rookie of the Year candidate if this was a normal season. But then you're holding off the Atlanta Braves, who I ended up putting a ticket in to win a National League because I thought, hey, I have security. The Atlanta Braves are going to be in the... I don't have that security. Look at this. Only one up here on the Metsies. The St. Louis Cardinals have been playing better baseball. We know that over the past few months as well. Atlanta dangles with the San Francisco Giants. They have Charlie Morton going tonight for Atlanta. They're going up against Kyle Harrison of the San Francisco Giants. I'm involved in this game. Dinger Tuesday style, Tyler Fitzgerald plus 680. Get him on that card. We know he had the hot stretch. The numbers qualified tonight for Fitzgerald going up against a righty himself at plus 680. I do not mind over 1.5 hits, runs, RBI if you would like for Fitzgerald on this slate. San Diego and Pittsburgh, though. Now, this obviously kind of brings together a Pirates team that we thought could contend here with that starting staff. Paul Skeens, arguably baseball's best. Mitch Keller, Jared Jones. The Pirates have been falling. and all of a sudden Paul Skeens' last start wasn't typical Paul Skeens. Start before that as well, didn't go super deep. Some questions now, right? That ticket that at one point was the crown jewel of this show to win a Cy Young. All of a sudden, the sports book smiling probably ear to ear. That's why we didn't give you a cash out, fellas. It is what it is. I still think Pittsburgh hangs here. I'm on this team tonight on the run line. +1.5, -102 juice. I like Louis Ortiz here getting the baseball for the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's a good spot. I'll play this run line. You want to chase a big dog money line here, 2-1. I don't mind that at all on Pittsburgh. Also, the Metsies go. Paul Blackburn, little revenge if you want. That's probably not necessary, but he goes up against his old team in the Athletics here right now. A nearly -200 favorite number for Paul Blackburn and the Mets. I'm going to fade Paul Blackburn a bit. Give me Brent Rooker on your Dinger Tuesday card, +350 for a home run. He has the tied with Francisco Lindor for the best price in this game to go deep. Speaking of best prices to go deep, some notable Dinger Tuesdays that you can find on that slate. There's that judging number alongside Shohei. We know numbers move throughout the day, so obviously keep everything in range there. Yordan Alvarez, Bryce Harper potentially could go deep. I don't hate if you get involved with that game today. I would actually go on the Miami side of it, though, and go with Jesus Sanchez if you're looking to get involved with Marlins Phillies for Dinger Tuesday. And let's not forget to mention he's back. Mookie Betts went deep last night. Could he do it again? Up next, as I said, it's a treat. Look at me. I'm getting excited. I'm getting up in your face here, man. Come on now. Joe Lisi stops by. College football is around the corner. Less than 2 weeks out. We have our AP poll. We break that down, what it means for the market next, right here on Game Time Decisions.
Russell Wilson listed as quarterback one on, of course, every team's got to put out these dopey unofficial depth charts before their preseason games. Wilson listed as one, but Fields is going to start the preseason opener against the Texans.
I still think they're going to start Wilson, but, if they start Fields, so be it. Like, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I know this. I think they're both talented.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
What is the ceiling for this kid? Now that he's got the money, and we saw something click with him, what is the ceiling for a Jordan Love in this Green Bay team?
Deepest pass target group in the National Football League. 2 stud tight ends. They're a legit 5 deep at receivers. 7 bona fide pass targets deal. Come on, man. This guy could be a stud. Top 5 quarterback.
Game Time Decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Say the under has the correct juice to the 6.5 win total for the New York Giants. It's a losing season. It's a bad season in the greater New York area. Is Brian Daboll and is Joe Shane back next year?
As a Giants fan, what are you looking forward to? Absolutely nothing. You're hoping like the Yankees make a long enough run so you can forget about the Giants.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go!
That's what champions do.
I mean, would you look at this? Look who made his way here. I had to tie him down to the set. Joe Lisi's with us here. Game Time Decisions. Joe, countdown's on.
Oh, this is amazing. College football's back, baby. AP Top 25 came out yesterday. The usual suspects at top. We saw the bottom half of the top 25 question marks, teams like Miami and Mario Big Chest, Mike Elko, and Texas A&M and Arizona. Those are the head scratchers for me, but we'll see how it plays out in a couple of weeks.
We'll dive into some of those teams at the back end. I want to start, you mentioned the usual suspects. Georgia, not just at the top, by far and away the most first-place votes. The only other teams that received were Ohio State and Oregon. And it kind of serves as a reminder. When we talked about last year's college football, obviously a lot of controversy. Bama was able to get in over Florida State. And what happened then is we never really talked about Georgia not being in. Not that Georgia had to be in. They lost the SEC championship game. They had one loss. Bama had one loss. But you've always kind of explained to people, Georgia's hardly lost any games over these years. When you saw them finish in that top spot, they're the favorites to win the national championship this year. Does that all feel correct to you preseason?
Absolutely. 3-1 right now. We're talking about a team that won 29 out of the last 30 games. Carson Beck, a front runner in regards to the Heisman Trophy, 7-1 shot. We talked about it in terms of last segment, in terms of how he performed last year. 5 performances over 300. They were 5-0 and won those ball games by an average margin of victory, Kev, of 26.5 points per game. Dominant, 6 starters coming back on defense. And you talk about the physicality in terms of offense and defense line. When you can run it and shut down the run, you're going to be in each and every ball game.
Now, I mentioned they get the most votes far and away. Ohio State got a few. Oregon was able to get one. Do you feel that any other teams were deserving of a first-place vote that maybe didn't end up getting a vote?
No, I mean, right now I think Oregon deserved more than one vote overall. I actually think Oregon is more complete, at least heading into the season, believe it or not, than Ohio State. And that's not to take away from Ryan Day. He hasn't beaten Michigan yet in terms of his tenure. Will Howard comes over. I have concerns. And when you have a trigger man in terms of Dylan Gabriel that comes over from Oklahoma, let's not forget, Dylan Gabriel gave the Texas Longhorns their only regular season loss. He stepped up with 30 touchdowns. I think Oregon is deserving ahead of right now Ohio State, because I think Dan Lanning right now has proved that in terms of his previous 2 seasons in Eugene.
Now, is there any team that we saw inside that top 10, Notre Dame ended up coming in at 7, that you felt maybe a little overhyped? You were surprised to see their name check into that range?
Yeah, you might agree with me. James Franklin and Penn State. I mean, you could do it in terms of the paper, right? We know that they have the potential with Katron Allen and Singleton, the running backs, but they haven't done it in terms of big matchups. They haven't beaten Ohio State. They haven't beaten Michigan last year. They got absolutely boat raced in regards to the rushing attack. And when you have a quarterback in Drew Aller, Kevin, 3 losses last year, completed less than 50%.
Terrible.
That is terrible. How you could put them ahead of the likes of Florida State with DJU, and more importantly, Michigan. I understand Sharon Moore is their first-year head coach, but I would still give the inside track to the Wolverines over the Nittany Lions.
So I think that's really interesting when you put Penn State and Michigan side by side, because while Drew Aller, he comes with questions, and that might be being nice because of how bad he was last year, but Michigan lost so much, Joe. I mean, and it's not just the fact that Michigan lost Harbaugh. I mean, they lost all of these key guys. I know they keep Will Johnson on the outside. The defensive line is supposed to be really good for the defending champs here. But you can tell through the pricing in the market, even a make the college football playoff is a plus price in an expanded field for the Michigan Wolverines. Do you think those are overreactions with the Michigan prices moving the way they are?
Absolutely. You're talking about Michigan right now, 22 home game winning streak, right? That's one of the best in terms of college football, and they can run it. They average 169 rushing yards per game. My guy, big game, Donovan Edwards returns, 497 rushing yards, well over 4 yards a carry, 5 rushing touchdowns, the 2 big ones in terms of the national championship, and more importantly, the physicality, Kev, in terms of the offensive line. They're 3.5-point underdogs week 2 against Texas and Quinn Ewers. I like them in that matchup. They win that ball game. They're not going to be plus 115 to make the college football playoff. They'll be negative and potentially a favorite to win the Big Ten.
Now, you mentioned some teams that you saw crack in the back end there. There's so many other things we could handle at the top. College football today, by the way, August 24th with week 0. As always, we begin. We'll be there. We'll be flying our futures and picks for the opening slate of games, no doubt about it. But you mentioned Kansas, Arizona. The Big 12 got some love, I thought, here in the AP poll, but maybe a little too much?
No, not too much. Just teams like Arizona, first-year head coach, even though Noah Fifita comes in to the conference, we saw 3 teams struggle last year in terms of making that move from the AAC into the Big 12. It's going to be different, a different landscape, understanding the talent, understanding the schemes, and some of these teams that moved over, especially the ones from the Pac-12 into the conference, it could be a rough start for Noah Fifita and their new head coach, Brett Brennan. But I will say, where's my guy Texas Tech and Joey McGuire? 18 total starters coming back. Right. Taj Brooks, Brennan Morton, they deserved to be in the top 25.
No love.
Where's the love for Joey McGuire?
What about Iowa State out of the Big 12?
Rocco Beck, too. I mean, there's a number of teams. I mean, I cannot believe that they put in Miami. And just because of Cam Ward, I said it on the radio, Cam Ward has the potential to be De'Ara King 2.0 before he could be Vinny Testaverde. You have to show it to me, Mario Big Chest. He's 12-13 overall in South Beach.
And listen, it's an indefensible record, but it comes down to this year.
It does.
You can tell through the market the expectations are a lot different for this year's Hurricanes football team. So but it also depends, Joe, and again, you can use this through the AP poll here. How much do we believe in Clemson and Florida State this season? Do you feel last year's Florida State team, and look, I know what ended up showing up to that bowl game, but last year's Florida State team, fully healthy, felt like a real national title contender. Does the ACC have a national title contender?
I think Florida State is that team.
Okay.
I really believe they're deserving in terms of the top 10. DJU comes over, 21 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He's played in the conference. And Mike Norvell has recruited phenomenal in terms of his final 2 years. I think they have the depth and the talent. They can run it. They could shut down the run. And what he's done on the defensive side of the ball, Marvin Jones comes over from Georgia, could be the next big thing for the Florida State defense, plus 154 for the Seminoles. And if Clemson knocks off Georgia, baby, week 1, that plus 205 is not going to be there, baby.
Oh, he's starting already. We're giving you a little taste here. Again, college football today is back in the saddle with week 0. That is the man himself, Joe Lisi. Carver and Lisi tonight. It's Stinger Tuesday. He bets more baseball than you would imagine. We'll talk some NFL next.
Russell Wilson listed as quarterback 1 on, of course, every team's got to put out these dopey unofficial depth charts before their preseason games. Wilson listed as 1, but Fields is going to start the preseason opener against the Texans.
I still think they're going to start Wilson, but, if they start Fields, so be it. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I know this. I think they're both talented.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
What is the ceiling for this kid? Now that he's got the money, and we saw something click with him, what is the ceiling for a Jordan Love in this Green Bay team?
Deepest pass target group in the National Football League. 2 stud tight ends. They're legit 5 deep at receivers. 7 bona fide pass targets deal. Come on, man. This guy could be a stud. Top 5 quarterback.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Say the under has the correct juice to the 6.5 win total for the New York Giants. It's a losing season. It's a bad season in the greater New York area. Is Brian Daboll and is Joe Shane back next year?
As a Giants fan, what are you looking forward to? Absolutely nothing. You're hoping like the Yankees make a long enough run so you can forget about the Giants.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
Back with you right here. Game Time Decisions live on this Tuesday night. Baseball board, again, we're settled. Here's where it's at right now in case you are just tuning in. Home run shots, Brent Rooker, plus 350 for the Oakland Athletics. Willie Adames, plus 460 for the Brew Crew there in Milwaukee. And a plus 680 San Francisco Giants. Tyler Fitzgerald is where I am at right now. Now, I will tell people this. Those are my favorite guys tonight. I may mess around with a few more because I have found getting back those bonus bets are worth it. And also, and I don't know how new this is, but you can actually now start to chop up the bonus bet return from a Dinger Tuesday. And I have no issues with football season right around the corner, taking a portion of it. Hey, let's get it on this guy to win an NFL MVP. Let's get it on this guy to win a Heisman Trophy, right? So, again, never get over your head, right? But if you are looking to get involved with a few more games, I have no issues with that, right? It has to be the appropriate games. From this early before 7 o'clock slate, I am interested in potentially Jesus Sanchez. When we talk about the Philadelphia Phillies game and the Miami Marlins, Taijuan Walker gets the start for the first time in a while. Going for Philadelphia, but he has struggled this season against the left-handed side of the plate. And then I don't know if there's something that could jump off the board in Tampa Bay and Houston. The thing is, I'd rather fade Kikuchi, but Houston's not letting him go super deep into these baseball games since he's come over, so I'm not sure what to do there. I told you the 3 Dinger Tuesdays. I'm on the Pirates run line, plus 1.5, minus 102 in San Diego, going up against the Padres. And I am on Angels Blue Jays under the 9. Minus 115. From a straight wagers perspective, that is arguably my favorite. Probably outside of maybe some hit-run RBI plays, like on a Tyler Fitzgerald or something like that. But that's what I'm looking at here for tonight on a Tuesday, baseball-wise. We are going to talk some football tonight. We got Mike Blewett stopping by, pro NFL, of course. And there was some big news that came out today around J.J. McCarthy. And J.J. McCarthy's going to need surgery on his knee, which is never the starting point that you are looking for a rookie quarterback. However, for Minnesota, assuming everything goes well, I am of the belief this could be a blessing in disguise. The reality around these rookie quarterbacks is some people believe if you're not willing or looking to start them right away, it means you don't trust in them. It means we should have massive concern. But I've talked about this a lot. Jordan Love sat, worked. Rodgers sat, worked. Mahomes sat, worked. I don't think it's as simple as draft a quarterback in round 5, sit him, play him, boom, look at this, superstar. But I think when you take these guys that have first-round pedigree and give them a year to breathe, the NFL game is fast. And you give them that year to watch it in front of them before they actually have to go out there and read defenses on their own, it can make a difference. And so now J.J. McCarthy, I think there's a 0% chance, right? We see this guy in week number 1 against the New York Giants. But if you're the Minnesota Vikings, let's just say J.J. McCarthy's ready. After the bye, week 7, home against the Detroit Lions. Are you rushing him? And that's before whether or not Darnold's played poorly enough to give up the job. Now that we know Darnold takes that field, see, this is kind of the thing with that preseason game. J.J. McCarthy popped off enough to create some conversation. 188 yards, 11.1 yards per pass attempt, and threw 2 touchdowns. You'd throw 1 interception, but J.J. provided juice for that Minnesota football team. But it looks like now you're going to be locking in Sam Darnold. And the Sam Darnold situation might impact what you as a bettor believe this team can achieve via that 7.5 win total. It might impact what you believe this team can do in order to make Justin Jefferson worthy of his season-long player props. So that is why this J.J. McCarthy news is so incredibly important, because it's not just J.J., and there's, again, the future of the franchise for Minnesota that I think is interesting, but it's also what this means immediately, right? I'm sure there are people that have bets on Sam Darnold to start week 1. Look, you can't cash them yet, but you were already on your way. You're now well on your way for those potentially to be some winners. We are coming up against a break. What we've got on deck for you, one and only Tom Vecchio, as we get set here to rock and roll on a Dinger Tuesday. Who is going deep, and what else might Tom have for us? We'll break that down on the other side of this quick break.
Russell Wilson listed as quarterback one on, of course, every team's got to put out these dopey unofficial depth charts before their preseason games. Wilson listed as one, but Fields is going to start the preseason opener against the Texans.
I still think they're going to start Wilson, but, if they start Fields, so be it. Like, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I know this. I think they're both talented.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
What is the ceiling for this kid? Now that he's got the money, and we saw something click with him, what is the ceiling for a Jordan Love in this Green Bay team?
Deepest pass target group in the National Football League. 2 stud tight ends. They're a legit 5 deep at receiver. 7 bona fide pass targets deal. Come on, man. This guy could be a stud. Top 5 quarterback.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Say the under has the correct juice to the 6.5 win total for the New York Giants. It's a losing season. It's a bad season in the greater New York area. Is Brian Daboll and is Joe Shane back next year?
As a Giants fan, what are you looking forward to? Absolutely nothing. You're hoping like the Yankees make a long enough run so you can forget about the Giants.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
Back at the right here, it's Game Time Decisions. Kevin Walsh, I'm joined by Tom Vecchio here. Tom, how are we feeling? People are pumped up for this baseball slate.
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I got 2 homers that I'm looking at tonight, both on the West Coast. We're in the dog days of summer. I know a lot of people are looking forward to football, but there's still a lot of baseball action to be had before we close out the regular season.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Tom. So let's start with the home runs. We might talk a little football here, some different things, but what are you looking for here home run-wise on a Tuesday?
Yeah, let's start off with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Homer. It's only a plus 340. I like this number. He's been super hot as of late. Got back on track last night after losing his hit streak. He's going up against Carson Fulmer. Doesn't have a huge sample size this year, so when you look over his career, he's on a 419 slugging to righties, 1.29 home runs per 9. He has a 549 xFIP, which is terrible, 41% fly ball rate. And, of course, Vladdy is great. This is a righty-righty matchup, but he has 17 of his 23 homers versus righties, 43% hard contact rate, a 207 ISO, and a 156 WRC+. So this is just a spot to trust Vladdy, despite the team not being great overall. And then let's head to Arizona for Josh Bell for Homer. He has also been hot. If you look at his Baseball Savant page and looking at his rolling window, he's on fire, a change of scenery, and obviously a super hot lineup did wonders for him. Looking at his stats overall on the season aren't great, especially early in the season. But if you look at, again, month by month, his ISO in July versus lefties was up at 333. In August right now, it's at 214. His hard contact in July was at 38%. It's at 41% in August. It's up and up and up. And now tonight he's going up against Austin Gomber who's allowing a 5-1 slugging to righties, and you could say, oh, he's a pitcher for the Rockies at Coors Field. You actually look at his numbers versus righties on the road. He has a higher slugging allowed versus righties. It's at 517 versus righties on the road. He's also allowing more home runs on the road versus righties at 1.80 versus 1.69. So it's not just Coors Field. Austin Gomber just isn't a good pitcher, so let's just take a hot hitter in a great lineup right now.
Yeah, I think it's, with Josh Bell in a Diamondbacks uniform, he is batting .304. With Miami, it was .239. And we know that lineup protection could matter. And maybe it's just a change of scenery as well, Tom, that's helping Josh Bell right now.
I love all those points. It's, change of scenery. We get the line of protection. The Diamondbacks are rolling since, the All-Star break. I will also say that Arizona is actually the second highest stadium in terms of elevation behind Coors Field. So that is always a plus. Mm-hmm. Yes, they have the humidor there, but it's still always good to have high elevation for those home runs.
Yeah. Yeah, let me ask you now, Tom. There's a strikeout prop you're going to get involved with tonight here between the Brewers and the Dodgers. What are you looking for in that one?
Yeah, let's go to Colin Ray, under 4.5 strikeouts. It's sitting at -144. It might be a little bit of juice for some people. I understand that. If you don't like it, it is what it is. Looking back over his game log, we're seeing games with 7, 8, 9 strikeouts, but, that game log, I think, doesn't tell the whole story. He has a 19.5% strikeout rate this season. Last year was up at 21%. The year before that was at 20%. Over the course of his career, it's at 19.4%. So seeing him push games with a 28 or 30% strikeout rate is a clear outlier. He's going to regress, and he's going up against the Dodgers, who now are better with Mookie Betts back. They have a 22.9% strikeout rate versus righties. That's 15th in the league. And it's the Dodgers. They could also put up 5 runs and just force him out of the game. So his game log of 7, 8, 9 strikeouts recently does not tell the type of pitcher that he actually is. He's a below-average strikeout pitcher, not only this year, not only last year, not only the year before, but over the course of his entire career. I'll go with the -144 on under 4.5.
Let me ask you something about that game on the other side. With Mookie back, are you surprised they're keeping Ohtani in the leadoff spot? We know before the injury it was Mookie 1, Ohtani 2. Does that surprise you at all?
I don't think so. I mean, giving Ohtani just like that extra chance, especially on the road, is always great. And, forcing a pitcher to start off a game versus Ohtani, I think, is always a daunting thing when one swing of the bat, you could, have the be losing if you hang one to start the game. So having him in the Mookie that is in the 2 spot, I think is fine. You go lefty, righty, and then back to Freeman, back to Will Smith. Like, it just keeps pitchers and opposing pitching staffs on their toes.
Yeah, it's funny. There's a part of me that has not given up on like a season-long Ohtani RBI leader, which I should have clearly given up on. It's like baseball wide. He has no chance. He has no chance. So I was like annoyed when I first saw it. But then when I was realistic, and the fact that they then can just go lefty, righty, lefty, because people care about that stuff still in baseball with Freeman batting third, I thought that it made sense. Tom, let me just sneak in a little NFL before we let you get out of here on a Tuesday. Anything, and it's fine if the answer is no, anything from the week 1 of preseason action that we saw that stood out to you?
Ultimately, no. Like, I don't watch games in terms of like expecting certain results. Looking into player usage, I think, is more important. Seeing overall snaps and how that changes, especially for the coming weeks, I think that's going to be important of which players, especially wide receivers and running backs, like what we really care about for props. That's where we're going to see the most notable moves, I think, in the following weeks. But like seeing a quarterback or a wide receiver that I'm super high on have a bad game, like, doesn't bother me. If he has a successive bad games in the coming weeks, then he won't be playing, and then I can just move on to another player. So nothing jumped off the page. I mean, I think the Raiders-Vikings game was exciting, but things obviously changed for the Vikings with today's news.
Let me ask you this as well then on a separate thing. I know this wasn't related to week 1. It happened today in practice. But, Tom, you also have a very good gauge on fantasy, which then can translate to season-long player props. The Tyrone Tracy injury, maybe some people saw the name, thought, this maybe not much here, was slated as RB2 on the depth chart for the New York Giants, with Devin Singletary slated as RB1. When you saw that, I mean, is there a world that Devin Singletary could just absolutely explode through some season-long numbers?
I mean, I don't know what they were before and what they'll be adjusted to now. Like, the problem is like, we're talking about the Giants offense here. So it's like, what level of confidence did you have in the Giants offense, regardless if like, regardless if no one got hurt, regardless if they never drafted him, like, I just still don't have confidence in the Giants overall. So, like, I know Malik Neighbors is awesome, but at a certain point, like, what are we going to be expecting from Daniel Jones in the offense overall? Like, that's going to hold them back. So I think the talent is immense from Malik Neighbors, but like, will they have enough opportunities to get him the ball in enough situations where he can actually let that shine? So one player being injured doesn't change things for Devin Singletary. I think his numbers will be fine. I don't think he's an amazing talent overall. It's just kind of like a wash for me.
Yeah, he's right now at 750.5, and I think listen, and you're right. Singletary, I don't know if he can be a bell cow, if you will, but if this team is just devoid, Eric Gray and Dante Miller are the names that come up next on the depth chart, right? If Devin Singletary then all of a sudden has an opportunity to get far more work than you would think it can sometimes just be a workload thing. Now, the counter to that, right, Tom, is he could be more susceptible to injury, which then would ruin any player props if you were looking over.
Right, like you would hope at a certain point the attrition will just get him to yardage, will get him to total carries per game or whatever we're looking at, whether it's season long or week by week. But if you running for 2 or 3 yards at a time doesn't help if they're down by 15 and have to throw the ball constantly or whatever it is. So if we just don't trust the offensive line, if we just don't trust the offense to move the ball, then they're going to be low value touches and it just won't matter at the end of the day.
Yeah, now I get to do this because we only have a little bit of time left, and I know they don't want me to, but that's okay. Closing thoughts on Team USA basketball from this past weekend and the win that we saw over France?
It was great. I said this to Ben and Donnie on Monday, what the team looks like for the next Olympics. So assuming no LeBron, KD, or Durant, what the team looks like is going to be massive because the gap is closed between some of the other countries. It's not like Wembanyama is going to get any worse over the next 4 years. He's only going to be amazing, and France and Serbia are still going to be our biggest opponents, and probably along with Spain. So they need to figure out what the roster looks like for the next Olympics.
It's interesting. I do actually, and I don't know if it's going to be great that he does. I think there's a chance Durant plays on the roster. One of the sneaky things, though, and we'll see what happens, is I don't know if, now France should be, outside of that, I don't know how much better the world is going to be in 4 years. Tom, excellent stuff as always. We're talking George Kurtz next is live right here at SportsGrid.
Russell Wilson listed as quarterback 1 on, of course, every team's got to put out these dopey unofficial depth charts before their preseason games. Wilson listed as 1, but Fields is going to start the preseason opener against the Texans.
I still think they're going to start Wilson, but, if they start Fields, so be it. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I know this. I think they're both talented.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
What is the ceiling for this kid? Now that he's got the money, and we saw something click with him, what is the ceiling for a Jordan Love in this Green Bay team?
Deepest pass target group in the National Football League. 2 stud tight ends. They're a legit 5 deep at receiver. 7 bona fide pass targets deal. Come on, man. This guy could be a stud. Top 5 quarterback.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Say the under has the correct juice to the 6.5 win total for the New York Giants. It's a losing season. It's a bad season in the greater New York area. Is Brian Daboll and is Joe Shane back next year?
As a Giants fan, what are you looking forward to? Absolutely nothing. You're hoping the Yankees make a long enough run so you can forget about the Giants.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go!
That's what champions do.
Live on Sports Grid Game Time Decisions. We continue to lock in on this baseball board, and we got some help from George Kurtz to do just that. George, how we feeling here on a loaded Tuesday?
You know, you've already, before the show, you're starting to wind me up about the Cowboys, how we doing on the Tuesday. The Yankees just 2 for 18 last night, left on 19 runners here. Jazz Chisholm is probably gone for the year, maybe part of next year. How do you think I'm doing, Kevin?
Yeah, I swear I tried to do Dallas stuff that way. Well, because I knew we were going to talk Yankees. So I already knew that it was going to be tough enough. I will say this. I don't know if it's because of where my expectations were or maybe because I had a weekend away, so I was a little more zen. This team losing to the White Sox wasn't surprising. Now, if they lose the series, I will change my tone. Because you can't lose a series to the White Sox. I know they got crushed, but sometimes the adage is there's no difference between 12-2 and, 2-1, which isn't really true, but we say it to make ourselves feel better when there's a blowout. Did you feel like last night's loss was a sign that this team should have sent anyone who has future tickets on them into massive panic?
Well, I mean, we've seen this before. I mean, they did lose 2 out of 3 to the Angels last week at Yankee Stadium, another bad team. Maybe not historically bad like the White Sox, but we do see this with the Yankees. They are a team that can beat anybody or lose to anybody. And any given night, you just don't know what team is going to show up. Right? Last night, they couldn't hit. That was not a joke what I brought up there. I think they went 2 for 18 with runners at scoring position, left 16 men on base. That's a joke. That can't happen. Someone besides Judge needs to be able to hit consistently here, or Judge and Soto. And that person really was Chisholm, and now he's gone. So when you think about the Yankees, think about this. They don't have a first baseman. They don't have a third baseman. They won't bring up Dominguez because, according to Brian Cashman, there's no path to playing time. Well, Brian, he's better than Verdugo. You might want to find playing time for him. It's not working out there, all right? Get the better player involved in the lineup here. Their pitching staff is held together by Elmer's glue, duct tape, masking tape. I mean, that being said, Kevin, you and I go down every American League team. Baltimore has issues. Anybody really worried about whoever comes out of the American League Central? Houston, okay, we all hate them, but still, they're not great. Seattle can't hit. So every team in the American League has issues as well here. Whoever comes out of the American League, it could be another weird one. Could be like Seattle. I mean, hell, Boston coming out of the American League wouldn't shock me at this point.
Yeah, I don't think it's even just unique to the American League, but we should we'll stick there to make it a little bit cleaner. This is very much a situation, George. Whoever gets in, and whatever the bracket looks like, is how I'll be able to tell people what I really, really think is going to happen here. Because, one, there's a lot of movement that's still up on the board, but there isn't a clear, great team. There's just a lot of, pretty good teams that you could see getting hot. And I think the Yankees are in that mix. I think the frustration for fans, but also people who bet the Yankees at significantly smaller numbers than Boston or even Baltimore, right, before you get to even the Guardians of Minnesota, Kansas City Royals of the world, is the Yankees aren't justifying their price. Every expectation they're going to be in the race, George, but they aren't justifying their price. Are there teams in the American League, from a futures perspective, who you think you might be interested in right now?
The team I am most interested in, we're getting 10-1 on the Seattle Mariners. All right, I know their problem all season long has been they can't hit, right? And I just said it myself. But still, Castillo, Gilbert, Kirby, Miller, Brian Wu is your 5th starter. All right, that is fantastic. They are hitting better since they made the acquisitions of Arozarena and Turner. Now, I understand Turner's not scaring anybody. And maybe Arozarena only scares Yankee fans, right? Because he just kills the Yankees. That being said, he does, doesn't he? I mean, the man he's just fantastic against the Yankees. But I like the Seattle Mariners because no one wants to play that team. In a 5-game series, if your bats go a little quiet, you're done because they're shutting down everybody else. They can win 3-2 games. I don't know if anybody else can. And I just mentioned the starting staff, by the way. The bullpen is good as well. Seattle doesn't need 4, 5, 6 runs to win games. If they can get 3, they can get 4. They can win them. As a Yankee fan, I want nothing to do with Seattle. Not only that, I don't want to travel halfway across Earth to get there, but I know the Yankees won't hit Seattle, right? They'll get 3 runs. And Seattle can hit the Yankee pitching staff. Who can't, right? So that's a dangerous team. And I don't think I'm the only fan of a team that feels that way, that they don't want to play the Seattle Mariners. I think they're the team to watch out for.
I think it's going to sound odd. What worked in Seattle's favor is how obviously terrible their lineup was when the deadline came around, because they had to do a bunch of things. And I think they were good enough, right, to survive with that awful offense, but they knew they needed to do more. And the fact that team, it doesn't sound like a lot, right? But Robles, Arozarena, and Turner are all going to start for them. They changed 33% of their starting lineup at the deadline. That's a lot. The Yankees put 1 new guy in. Baltimore put, I don't know. I mean, they have so many darn guys already, right? So that's the reality and that's where Seattle does become a little interesting to me, George. Although I will say this, and I know maybe we don't have any Madison Bumgarners, and right now they don't have pedigree as much. Seattle, which is kind of the work against them thing. Like, I oddly don't fear Louis Castillo the way I'm supposed to. Like, I know he was brilliant on Sunday night against the Mets. I think he could also be blown up. Let's pause this here. George is going to stick around. Let's shoot over to the National League. We'll see if George has any other bets that are lined up here on a Tuesday as well. Just to update quickly here, runs scored in Washington early by the Nationals. That's a Yerfie for people there. And then a run scored by the Miami Marlins early in that inning as well against the Philadelphia Phillies. Everything else is still in the first inning. So no runs first innings hasn't cashed yet for anything else. George is going to stick around. Quick break. Live on SportsGrid. We'll be right back.
Russell Wilson listed as quarterback 1 on, of course, every team's got to put out these dopey unofficial depth charts before their preseason games. Wilson listed as 1, but Fields is going to start the preseason opener against the Texans.
I still think they're going to start Wilson, but, if they start Fields, so be it. Like, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I know this. I think they're both talented.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
What is the ceiling for this kid? Now that he's got the money, and we saw something click with him, what is the ceiling for a Jordan Love in this Green Bay team?
Deepest pass target group in the National Football League. 2 stud tight ends. They're a legit 5 deep at receiver. 7 bona fide pass targets deal. Come on, man. This guy could be a stud. Top 5 quarterback.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Say the under has the correct juice to the 6.5 win total for the New York Giants. It's a losing season. It's a bad season in the greater New York area. Is Brian Daboll and is Joe Shane back next year?
As a Giants fan, what are you looking forward to? Absolutely nothing. You're hoping like the Yankees make a long enough run so you can forget about the Giants.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
All right, back with you right here on Sports Grid. Kevin Walsh, joined by George Kurtz. We've got Mike Blewett right around the corner. George, anything from the baseball slate, 7 o'clock or later, that you're going to be looking to bet tonight?
Well, we're looking to bet everything tonight, right? I've been having a good time, right? Things are working out my way. Hey, anybody who watched the show Saturday night with Cam and I and In Game Live, you saw the mixed emotions that bettors go through, right? We were losing on everything, and then by the end of the night, everything came in for us, right? So you got the thrill of victory. I mean, we hit everything there, and Sunday was good. Yesterday was solid as well here. Not for the Yankees, who, granted, were the big parlay busters last night. Yeah, I'm on Baltimore, so this is not the greatest start for us here. The 2-0 lead for Washington. Once again, it's not starting off well, so I'm going to blame you, Kevin, for this because I'm on Philly as well.
All right,
I have that parlay, what's going on down there. So we need to turn that around here. I'm on the Mariners over Detroit. Although that was dangerous. That's just a small play here because Scooble's going there, and Scooble, by the way, gets the Yankees on Sunday in the Little League game. Right, they're playing at the Little League thing Sunday night here. That's why. When you brought up the first thing that the Yankees can't lose 2 out of 3 to Chicago, they better not, because winning Sunday is going to be really, really hard.
Do you think Scooball has that locked up, that AL Cy Young right now?
I mean, Burns is there, but he's pitched okay of late, not great. Scooball's still pitching very well. Do I think he has it locked up? No. If Burns were to go off from here on out, I think he would have a shot because we know Baltimore's going to the playoffs. Right, I think that would be a big thing there. But that being said, I think it's going to be Scooble that more than likely not going to shut him down. Right, I think he's going to pitch from here on out, so he's going to keep putting up those numbers here. Assuming there are no injuries and each guy pitches like they have been pitching, I do think it'll be Scooble. But like I said, Burns, I don't think he needs to go bananas. Just a little bit better than what he's doing, and I think he'll be right there because Baltimore's going to the playoffs.
Do you think Emmanuel Clase has any chance to enter the conversation, the closer for Cleveland?
No. Listen, you and I, Yankee, we love Mariano Rivera. And I don't think Mariano Rivera was ever really the Cy Young. I mean, you're a closer. A lot of those, and Clase's great, and Mariano obviously was an old-time great, but a lot of those saves are, okay, you need 3 outs and you got a 3-run lead. Who the hell cares? All right, so I would need to break it down, all his saves, to see how many actually were, okay, that's a legitimate save. Versus how many were, the stupid save rule. But, there's a fraction of them that are, who cares saves. So, no. I think the only way a reliever can do it, and I understand why you brought it up, by the way, there's just no obvious pick. The Eckersley back in the 80s, sure, I can see that. I don't see that happening this year.
I think Scooball has started to get, listen, he gave up 5 earned, and not his last start, but the one prior. You'd have to get hit a little bit. I'll just say, look, and I bet the Clase 200 to 1, it's 100 to 1. Look at me, I'm such a winner. His ERA is a .65. He's allowed 1 run since June 14th. I mean, it's George. Like, if you want to pull the Yankee stuff in, how many runs has Clay Holmes allowed since June 14th?
George
is never going to agree to come back on.
It's like you want to tee me up here. Clay Holmes is not a closer. I mean, he's got good. It doesn't make any sense because he's got good stuff. His ball moves all over the place, but he doesn't know where it's going. And he's behind so many batters where he has to come into them. Clase's just been great. And the only thing that's going to knock him, though, he's on Cleveland. Yeah, we're not talking about Cleveland all that much, So I think that's going to knock him as well. I love all his numbers. He's the best closer in the game today. I just don't think it's. Listen, things can go wrong in the next 6 weeks, right? Burns can, Scooble could poop the bed. And then it could be Clase. But as it stands right now, August 13th, my vote is for Scooble, but it's not a lock dead vote. Like I said, I think this could go to Burns. I think there's a 10% chance for Clase.
Yeah, I think my take on Clase, while I don't think he's going to win it, is he should have better odds than Cole Reagans. Like, Cole Reagans has simply not been better than Emmanuel Clase. Like, I don't. But he's a starter, and people thought he might win it before the year, so they kind of still give it some respect. George, it's been a pleasure. Good luck with the Cowboys news cycle. Enjoy the Yankees game tonight. I tend to think it'll go much better than yesterday's game.
It better go. It better go better. I almost flipped out on rage last night. I will be bouncing. I don't care if they lose the game 3-2. I will not be happy tonight, especially if we're going to find out by the end of the night, Kevin, that Chisholm is done.
Let's hope that's not the case, George. Let's hope that's not the case. That's George Kurtz helping us out. Up next, we've got Mike Blewett stopping by. Brandon Ayuk could be a Pittsburgh Steeler. What does Mike think about that? And a lot more. I'll tell you on the other side right here at SportsGrid.
Russell Wilson listed as quarterback one on, of course, every team's got to put out these dopey unofficial depth charts before their preseason games. Wilson listed as one, but Fields is going to start the preseason opener against the Texans.
I still think they're going to start Wilson, but, if they start Fields, so be it. Like, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I know this. I think they're both talented.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
What is the ceiling for this kid? Now that he's got the money, and we saw something click with him, what is the ceiling for a Jordan Love in this Green Bay team?
Deepest pass target group in the National Football League. 2 stud tight ends. They're legit 5 deep at receivers. 7 bona fide pass targets deal. Come on, man. This guy could be a stud. Top 5 quarterback.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Say the under has the correct juice to the 6.5 win total for the New York Giants. It's a losing season. It's a bad season in the greater New York area. Is Brian Daboll and is Joe Shane back next year?
As a Giants fan, what are you looking forward to? Absolutely nothing. You're hoping like the Yankees make a long enough run so you can forget about the Giants.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
Live to right here on SportsGrid. It's Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh with you here on a Tuesday with Mike Blewett in the mix. Mike, how are you, sir?
I'm great, buddy. Great to see you. Happy to be back in your good graces here on air. Took some time off last week, and it's full throttle from here on out. I know we're going to talk some Steelers, but it's been exciting to see the guys back on the field. I don't put too much stock into preseason games, but the preseason stories are what we live for, right?
Yeah, look, the preseason, we'll get to it. I think there's a lot of interesting stuff out there. But I'd be remiss if I didn't start this off with the Brandon Ayuk stuff. Kind of been holding this off and waiting for you to get in here. But, Mike, I'm also going to hope that you can kind of handle the heavy lifting. What the heck's going on with Brandon Ayuk? I mean, I don't know. I feel very confused by the day on this stuff here. What's your read on this situation?
So what's interesting is that you find out as much about what previously happened during these stories as you are finding out, to your point, day by day. And it seems like even around draft time, when you and I sat together on set during the draft and potentially waiting for an Ayuk bomb or a Shefty bomb of some sort, it never materialized. And it appears that even back then, there were teams like the Patriots that had the money sorted out with Ayuk. So I think I remain confused as well. Clearly, there's going to be somewhat of a significant asking price, but wouldn't you think, Kev, that it goes down by the day, presuming no other major wide receivers get injured during this preseason? Wouldn't you presume that the price technically is going down day by day? The 49 people realizing that the 49ers might have a little bit less leverage because they're not playing a guy that doesn't want to be there, and he is holding in. So he's really a part of the team, but he's not, yet they want to get rid of him. It's a big stew of which creates this sort of confusion. On the Steelers side, I'd imagine it's all about the price of it, contract plus the trade value that's going back the other way. My only concern as a Steelers fan is how much does it tie them up on the cap in future seasons? This year, obviously, very inexpensive at quarterback. Plus, and this shouldn't be a primary concern, but it is something I think about, what will George Pickens' mindset be if he goes from the presumed number 1 to the number 2?
I'll be honest. Hey, Mike, call him like I see him. Not great that's a worry. Not right. Listen, and I don't mean to be giving out scorchers on a Tuesday night in August, but not great to the idea that Pickens might be angry. Ayuk shows up. I think the reason
do you concur that could be a concern?
I would concur it's on the board, but I also am so high on his talent. I think it's on the board. He still is the number 1 wide receiver.
I think that's totally fair. I think that's fair too. Yeah, me too.
So it's up to Tomlin, right, who is still viewed as at minimum, top 10 coach in this league, to make sure that that's not an issue and that that's a positive.
I agree.
And if he's going to be able to handle this Wilson Fields thing, which we can get into more in a second, then I'm sure he could handle Pickens Ayuk. My confusion, I think, with this, Mike, is how a team that is seemingly as well ran as the Niners allowed it to get to this point. Because I think pretty inarguably they would have been better off trading him at the draft. And when that didn't happen, I sort of felt like, okay, he's probably not going to be moved. And then they drafted Ricky Pearsall, and I was like, oh, they're definitely going to get rid of him. But that then even doubles down on why didn't they do this deal then? Losing leverage. But forget the leverage. Unless they made that deal with the Browns that saw them bring back Amari Cooper, the San Francisco 49ers, if they trade Brandon Ayuk, will get worse. It doesn't mean they won't be a contender, but they are going to be worse, and this is a Super Bowl or bust football team. That's odd that they let it get to this point, Mike.
I agree with that, with the caveat that I think many teams have operated like this recently in the hopes that they may, at some point, obtain more leverage, whether it's been with a key pass rusher or hanging on to a quarterback that you think may get moved at some point. I think these are fair criticisms, but I would simply say they are probably looking for a situation in which there's more leverage entry that could create this issue. And keep in mind, they obviously did draft a wide receiver. I'm not saying Ricky Pearsall is going to be Brandon Ayuk. I think you're right to say that, at least in the short term, they get a little bit worse. But a lot of times with the Niners offense, and we see this in Miami too, the same system, sometimes the sum of the parts is greater than the whole, if I'm using that cliche correctly.
Yeah. But I think the worry for me on the Niners is trying to exist on 2 timelines when sooner than later you'll end up paying Brock Purdy huge money is a very risky game. And my thing is, and this is one of the things that I think has been very difficult to figure out, Mike, is getting rid of Ayuk or Debo, right? For 2 to 3 years now, they've probably been dealing with that. And while Debo is super unique and at times feels irreplaceable, he is also more injury prone. Yeah. They're going to now. Listen, it's again we're crying for the Niners, who will then just have to rely on Kittle and McCaffrey if Ayuk is traded and Debo's injured. But it just feels like it could be a lot on Pearsall. But to zone in on the Pittsburgh end of it, deal potentially gets done here. We know they want to win. Where are you at on this quarterback situation? Because it seems like they are more open to Fields winning the job, and he has a big advantage right now by being the healthy man in the room.
Yeah. So I think, and I was surprised, and you and I think, may have talked about this a couple of months back. I'm surprised by any statement at any point that indicated that one of them already had the job. And that was an indication in Russell Wilson's favor back when the acquisition happened. So even after the acquisition of Fields, it was implied that it's Russell Wilson's job. I frankly don't understand that for a variety of different reasons. And we're finding that, at least I was okay to think that, or it was a proper way to think, simply because we're talking about an older quarterback, might be banged up, not to mention you and I talk about all these personality issues.
Yeah, I think my current gauge on it, Mike, is Russ wins the job, but has a short leash. And it's not just going to be a win-loss record that can hold off Fields. If he's not playing well, I could see them moving on, even if they were 4-2 after 6 weeks.
So I'm completely in agreement with this. I think you can't be looking at wins and losses, but that's us saying that. If you look up on the ledger and you're 4-2 and tied for first place, even Mike Tomlin, with all of the gravitas that he brings to him, could he bench a starting quarterback at 4-2? If it was egregiously bad, like we saw, frankly, last year, Kenny Pickett not playing well, but them winning games, Kenny Pickett losing a game in the fourth quarter, the defense scoring 2 touchdowns to get him a W. That's why QB wins and losses are sometimes off kilter with the way things really look. But you look at the schedule, it's Atlanta, Denver, Chargers, Indianapolis, Dallas, Vegas. That's before they play the Jets. We all know how bad the end of the season looks for them. They're going to have to be in really good shape before that bye week, Kev.
Yeah, I think look, I also think it's just really on the board that Russ ends up getting injured in the year. I don't think that's unfair to project. And then that's how Fields ends up taking the job. We're going to be with Mike for a little bit here. We'll probably shift this thing over to Minnesota, update the baseball board as well, game time decisions.
Russell Wilson listed as quarterback 1 on, of course, every team's got to put out these dopey unofficial depth charts before their preseason games. Wilson listed as 1, but Fields is going to start the preseason opener against the Texans.
I still think they're going to start Wilson, but, if they start Fields, so be it. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I know this. I think they're both talented.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
What is the ceiling for this kid? Now that he's got the money, and we saw something click with him, what is the ceiling for a Jordan Love in this Green Bay team?
Deepest pass target group in the National Football League. 2 stud tight ends. They're a legit 5 deep at receiver. 7 bona fide pass targets deal. Come on, man. This guy could be a stud. Top 5 quarterback.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Say the under has the correct juice to the 6.5 win total for the New York Giants. It's a losing season. It's a bad season in the greater New York area. Is Brian Daboll and is Joe Shane back next year?
As a Giants fan, what are you looking forward to? Absolutely nothing. You're hoping like the Yankees make a long enough run so you can forget about the Giants.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
All right, live with you right here on SportsGrid. I'm Kevin Walsh. I'm joined by Mike Blewett. We've got eyes right now on the baseball board. 2-1 Nats on Baltimore. Cubs are up 1-0 on the Guardians. Detroit jumped out to an early lead on Seattle as well. We have the Mets threatening, the Athletics threatening early right now. Brent Rooker with a base knock there, so 2 on, nobody out. Mike, we got some news today. J.J. McCarthy is going to need surgery. We don't really know much beyond that. At this point, I think it's on the board he doesn't play his rookie season. That could sound like a wild overreaction. Maybe I'll scale it down. So I'll say maybe he won't play until beyond week 10, and it would still require Darnold to be bad for JJ to take the job. What was your reaction when you saw the McCarthy news earlier today?
I mean, never in doubt for Sam, Kev. I mean, that's my reaction. Geez. You knew it. You knew it. You and I talk about it. We text about it. Never in doubt for Sam. I hope JJ is better as soon as possible. I think we both realize you're coming to the realization that it was really Sam all along because he's just a superior quarterback and probably worthy of that Jets first-round pick a few years ago. But in all seriousness, I do think that this is terrible news for J.J. McCarthy, obviously. The upside is that there's at least a reputation that Kevin O'Connell has for taking quarterbacks that are beyond Kirk Cousins, even some of those guys that had to fill in last year, Jaron Hall. He had a revolving door of guys come through there, Nick Mullins. He was still able to sustain this offense to be able to continue to score. Sam Darnold's trajectory as an NFL quarterback certainly has been moved around quite a bit for the last few years, but this is an opportunity with an offense that has functioned well in the past, great targets. He's got an offensive lineman that they just paid a boatload of money to protect him, and a head coach that's been able to protect and augment the quarterbacks that he's coached thus far, both as his stops as a coordinator and clearly as a head coach, as Kirk Cousins was able to have a lot of success before his injury.
Yeah, I think, look, the Viking situation is super unique. By the way, to make this very clear, Mike is egging me on because he knows I do not believe in Sam Darnold, and nor will I ever believe in Sam Darnold. But so I wanted to ask you about this, Mike, because this is kind of the stuff that you and I typically will always kind of get into. But the sample size of sitting these first-round quarterbacks, albeit small, is pretty awesome. I don't know. Maybe I'm out of my depth here. Is it not Rodgers, Mahomes, and Jordan Love? Am I missing some guys that have sat a year and flamed out that were first-round draft choices? I mean, there's a part of it that always feels like I have to be, but I can't ever figure them out. Nobody ever tells me the clear name I'm missing. Like, J.J. McCarthy, Drake May, hey, enjoy watching it. I know the Bears have to play Caleb Williams. I know the Commanders are going to play Jaden Daniels. I know Penix is going to sit. Bo Nix is weird with Peyton, but just, if I'm Minnesota, you brought Darnold in here anyway, just give him the 15 games. You want to play JJ the last 2, I can live with that. But I feel, Mike, that the sample size is there, that being patient with the quarterback works.
Yes, and look, I think we could find scenarios where these do and do not work. The quarterback initially sits for some time, and then he comes in. He's not very good anyway. The quarterback comes right in, and he's awesome. The quarterback comes right in, and he's terrible. We all know the first-round picks are missing more than they're hitting, right? Bryce Young last year, C.J. Stroud last year. You're thinking they both might be rough to start their careers. One was amazing, and one was already has Panthers fans wondering if they made the wrong selection, right? Even though when you look at the offensive line play from the Panthers last year, I don't know that anybody would have had a chance. So I don't really have an issue with anybody sitting. The bigger issue I have, Kev, is that we do this every year with coaches backing themselves, or GMs backing themselves sort of into a corner about all of it. Why don't you just say, we have a veteran that we really like, and he is going to play along with the rookie quarterback, and the best guy will be in there for as long as he's the best guy. It's a little vague, but that's actually what they mean every time. I remember adamantly the Jaguars saying that Blake Bortles would not play in his rookie season, and he was in after a month. And the Steelers didn't really want Pickett to play, but Trubisky was terrible. So he came in and threw 3 interceptions in his second half and lost to the Jets. And the Steelers missed the playoffs. Not that I remember every single detail of it. So that's really – but these things happen.
Bill O'Brien.
Why not just say what I said earlier?
I'd never say a negative word about Boston College great Bill O'Brien, but Bill O'Brien was like, listen, I'm not sure when Watson will see the field. It was week 1. He put him in at the second half.
I know.
You're right.
This happens all the time.
Here's the thing. I keep saying this, and now I'm going to jump to the Pat side of it. Gerard Mayo might have the most job security in football.
Yeah.
They've been planning to give him the job for 5 years. Just say I'm not playing Drake. Mike, are they going to fire Kevin O'Connell? No, of course not. Everyone loves Kevin O'Connell. Everyone loves him. So even in the world where Kevin O'Connell was fired, guess what? He'd be fine, and he'd have a job next year. No problem. Right. I'll bring this up quickly because someone did say Trey Lance. Now, Trey oddly started a game in week 5 of his rookie year and then another game in the back end. Here's the thing that happened with Trey Lance, though. He was given the job, played a game in a monsoon in Chicago, and then blew his leg out the next week, and he was never given another chance.
Yeah, he was immediately injured. We all know the Trey Lance story is unique.
Again, it's a super unique one, but that's also why there's a part of me, up until probably the bad game he played maybe this weekend against the Rams, I don't know if I'd give up on Trey Lance. Listen, because of pedigree and things like that. We got one more with Mike, I believe. And we're going to go through a couple of other NFL news and notes and see if anything from that preseason week 1 stood out to Mike here. We're live with you on Sports Grid. It's Kevin Walsh. It's Mike Blewett. It's Game Time Decisions on a Tuesday night. We'll be right back.
Russell Wilson listed as quarterback 1 on, of course, every team's got to put out these dopey unofficial depth charts before their preseason games. Wilson listed as 1, but Fields is going to start the preseason opener against the Texans.
I still think they're going to start Wilson, but, if they start Fields, so be it. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I know this. I think they're both talented.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
What is the ceiling for this kid? Now that he's got the money, and we saw something click with him, what is the ceiling for a Jordan Love in this Green Bay team?
Deepest pass target group in the National Football League. 2 stud tight ends. They're a legit 5 deep at receiver. 7 bona fide pass targets deal. Come on, man. This guy could be a stud. Top 5 quarterback.
Game Time Decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Say the under has the correct juice to the 6.5 win total for the New York Giants. It's a losing season. It's a bad season in the greater New York area. Is Brian Daboll and is Joe Shane back next year?
As a Giants fan, what are you looking forward to? Absolutely nothing. You're hoping like the Yankees make a long enough run so you can forget about the Giants.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
All right, we're back to right here. We're live on Sports Grid. We're joined by Mike Blewett here. We're talking some kind of the big NFL stories and what people are looking for. Mike, the one that I tried to graciously not hit on with George Kurtz, but I'll ask you about is the CeeDee Lamb situation. You know, Mike is one of the things that Mike and I think often connect on is just being very logical people. And I do think it's at times why we'll talk through these things and we both kind of go, well, I don't know. Because this Cowboys situation is illogical. Everybody knows they want CeeDee Lamb in the building. Everything they are doing is opposite that. I know so often there are people who will blame the player. I'll be honest with you, Mike, I haven't even heard many people try and take the this is CeeDee's fault stance. What is going on in Dallas right now?
Well, I think George referenced this a little bit too, whether it was off air or on air. We were talking before I came on, and the dynamic that continues to exist with the Cowboys is problematic. It's been problematic for the last 25, nearly 30 years now, of a family-run business, owner and player personnel, Stephen Jones, having so much direct contact. In this case, it's the owner, really, Jerry, so much direct contact at times with the players that it usurps the coach in a way and creates locker room or on-field problems where it shouldn't be, right? It often feels like not everybody's rowing the boat in the same direction. The owner is having his own conversation with a player or own stance on a player that the coach may not be in line with. And the coach, because the owner is the GM, doesn't have the same voice that he would have on other teams. You watch Hard Knocks, right? You probably saw the Giants off-season Hard Knocks. The control that Joe Shane has, whether you think he's any good or not, the control that Joe Shane has is real to run the football team and personnel the way he sees fit. And he's constantly talking with the coaching staff and the scouting staff. I'm not saying that none of that happens with the Cowboys, but I am saying that the coach has to negotiate with the owner on player terms and player preferences. And that's just a difficult dynamic to work in. It's the only one like that in the league, and it isn't working.
I think what doesn't, though, ever connect, I think today I got an update that the Cowboys are worth like over $10 billion.
Yeah.
You would think Jerry would operate with, I will pay anyone, anything, Super Bowl by any means necessary. And this isn't what's happening. They are unable to figure out a CeeDee Lamb deal that shouldn't be that complicated. The Dak situation looks like it's going to be one of the more unique ones in NFL history. And that's before Micah Parsons looks to get paid like a quarterback at the edge rusher position. This isn't going to get easier for them,
The Dak thing is really important because the way they handled Dak is, we're not going to pay you, we're going to let this season play out. Then he had a devastating leg injury, and then they paid him anyway. And not just that, they wanted to tack a fifth year onto that for more control, and then they ceded that back to Dak. So Dak now has more leverage going into free agency because Dallas conceded on that point. They gave him the money anyway. They should have said, look, you're injured right now. We need the fifth year in order to spread some of this bonus money out. We trust you anyway, even after getting hurt. And then they didn't do that. So I have a real issue with the way that they negotiated that. And people will start to say things like, well, Dak's not worth $60 million. It's like, okay, then who is? We can't re-rank everybody every season and start giving them the money. Kevin, you're an NBA fan. The NBA contracts on paper and to the average fan that don't understand the salary cap look astronomical, but they are in line with the market. Dak's going to get $60 million, and the next guy's going to get 65. And in the not too distant future, when the salary cap is over $300 million, a quarterback is going to get paid $70 or $75 million, and that's just the way it is.
And again, why I bring this stuff up is CeeDee Lamb right now, I'm not even kidding, in the middle of this segment, his odds to lead the NFL in receiving yards dropped in the middle of this segment. So this stuff is
Power
impacting the
sports,
market. I
buddy.
know there's a. I mean, listen, hey. I mean,
We're
you know, if
moving-
it's Mike and I,
moving
you know, something
market.
had to happen. I mean, you're welcome. I mean, little extra juice out there for the people. Mike, always a pleasure. We'll talk more soon. I know we're on the road to football. We've got Dave Sharapan stopping by next right here. It's Game Time Decisions.
Russell Wilson listed as quarterback one on, of course, every team's got to put out these dopey unofficial depth charts before their preseason games. Wilson listed as one, but Fields is going to start the preseason opener against the Texans.
I still think they're going to start Wilson, but if they start Fields, so be it. Like, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I know this. I think they're both talented.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
What is the ceiling for this kid? Now that he's got the money, and we saw something click with him, what is the ceiling for a Jordan Love in this Green Bay team?
Deepest pass target group in the National Football League. 2 stud tight ends. They're legit 5 deep at receivers. 7 bona fide pass targets deal. Come on, man. This guy could be a stud. Top 5 quarterback.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Say the under has the correct juice to the 6.5 win total for the New York Giants. It's a losing season. It's a bad season in the greater New York area. Is Brian Daboll and is Joe Shane back next year?
As a Giants fan, what are you looking forward to? Absolutely nothing. You're hoping like the Yankees make a long enough run so you can forget about the Giants.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
What do you say? Well, game time decisions for the people here. It's a Tuesday night. Baseball board is live. It's 3-0 Oakland, 1-0 Tampa. Reds are up here right now on the Cardinals, 2-0 Hunter Green with the baseball there for Cincinnati. And Hunter Green's mention could potentially allow us to bring up some NL Cy Young. Before we do anything, Dave Sharapan is here. Beautiful Padres attire. Consig, great to see you.
Great to see you, Kevin. Pardon me if my voice is a little bit rough. I had a rough week here at the Bet Bash. There was a lot of people here, a lot of meetings, a lot of things happening. So bear with me here while we get through this and the Pirate losing streak. The last time we were together was the last time the Pirates won, I think. So I've been pretty good with yesterday was the brown and gold Padre stuff. Today is the orange and blue. And if they lose again today, I already got tomorrow's teed up. We'll go City Connect. I mean, this is just one of those, you just keep betting against the streak. I'll be on with Wetzel later. One of his many theories. Winners bet with streaks, losers bet against streaks. That's baseball betting.
It is. You have to. I would just say it's easier said than done. You know what I mean? Like, we can't pretend that we've been betting the Padres the day the streak started, or betting against the Pirates. You know what I mean? Now, Dave, I'm sorry to hear that about the voice. If I know you and I know you were at Bet Bash, that means that you were putting the voice to good work, talking to hands, talking to people, shaking hands, and making sure that you were out there in the mix. I will say this. I'm on the Pittsburgh Pirates plus a run and a half tonight. That is secondary to what is an unfortunate Paul Skeens dropping number. Here's what I'll say to people. When I bet the 201, when we did that, what did we say?
Yes.
We wanted to cash out. And I got to be honest with you, I don't really understand how the books decide on whether or not they will be giving you the cash out option. It is, from what I can gather, inconsistent. I could cash out right now for a Trey Turner MVP bet. Why? Why are you even you won. I lost. Why are you doing that? Why are you giving me $2 back? And guess what? I don't take it. It isn't worth it. I lost. Congratulations, bookman. I have a Vladdy Jr. MVP bet. Again, swing and a miss. It happens. When this Paul Skeens number was under 2-1, if I wanted, I could have just been done with it. But I can't even sit here and kick myself because I wasn't given the option that which I was banking on. And I don't really know, Dave, if then I should stop placing wagers with the thought, hey, I could possibly ring the bell and cash out for profit if the inconsistency is going to just continue.
It's a fair thing to even ask. And I can tell you, we never did the cash out thing here in Vegas. And now we have a couple options of books that do it. It's usually not even a fair price. And you're probably better off investing more money in alternate options to make sure that you get the profit that you would like to earn. It involves investing more. The cash out option is inconsistent is a good word to say it. It's pretty random.
Yeah.
And it's probably one or two people's responsibilities to either turn it on and then see if anybody cashes out. I'm fascinated. I mean, I do in-game live every night, and I have a couple different apps open, and I love to see the cash out options as they appear. I never take them. I'll just, either bet my way out of the position that I'm in or accentuate the position if it's good. You can't really do that with the Skeens thing unless you have a sale ticket and you have a Zach Wheeler ticket, right? That's it. Those are the only options.
And I told people, I have no regrets that I don't have a Sale or Wheeler bet in. Look, I know Sale's sitting minus 200. I hope people are paying attention to what's going on with the market right now. It is, and I am not saying this as a defense to the Skeens move. He very clearly would not win it today. Remove that. But the market is overreacting to every single start.
Yes.
Oh, wow, Sale struck out 10. Boom, minus 200. Wheeler had that clean game against the Mariners. He was plus 350. Never mind, right back in front of Paul. Paul hadn't even pitched at that time. They are, again, the market would have you believe right now Hunter Green's going to win this thing. I heard someone today say they liked Reds Cardinals over because there was 2 trash cans going. Now, that was a crazy statement, but Hunter Green is not in this race. He's not in this race, yet his 13-1 number might suggest he is. And I don't say that as a negative to Hunter Green. It's awesome to see that kid deliver on all the hype that was there. And he was supposed to be the two-way guy. Correct. I remember the Hunter Green high school hype packages and the shortstop and all that and stuff. I really do. So I like Hunter Green. I think he's awesome. I have bets involving different things. It's just, and let me then bring this up because then we can get to other stuff, Dave. And I don't know how much you are familiar on the subject, though I have a good feeling you are. The surcharge stuff.
Oh, yeah.
What I can tell people from what I've seen today, or I guess, okay, quick rewind to the tape. Sports books were flirting with the idea of taxing your winnings as they hit your account. If you bet something at even money, 20 to win 20, you'd get back less than $20 as it would be taxed right away.
Yes.
From what I understand, DraftKings said, we will be doing this, and then they pulled back. And that's what it seems like is the story, Dave. What can you tell the people about this situation?
It was a major topic of discussion out here in Vegas at that Bet Bash convention. Spoke to a lot of people, lawmakers, legislators, gaming reporters, a lot of friends of ours who, appear on the network, on Newswire and different things. Talked to a lot of people, and it was kind of floated up there. The way it was described to me best was as a weather balloon, and we would see if anybody else let one go to join them. And they were fully expecting one of the other big players, to say, you know what, that's not a bad idea. So for a $10 bet at even money, you would collect $20. With a 3.2% surcharge on winning tickets only, instead of the $20, you would collect $19.68. But they would be the only book doing that. Now, it's small pennies. It looks like it. 3 dimes and 2 pennies on that. But that adds up as you scale. So what that was actually floating out there, and at the Bet Bash, there's got a lot of the sharpest people in the world. And most of them, you just have to ask them, and they will tell you that. But they're here, and they're just going to find alternate means to bet. If they still have an account at DraftKings, they were just going to empty the money out and leave. So putting it out that they were going to do it January 1st, 2025, after football, made it go, okay, are they really going to do this, or are they just kind of floating the idea out there to see what the reaction would be? And Sam and the boys did a good job with that tweet and talking about it. And, they listen to the people. So that's good. There's no need to do this. The juice should be enough. But the legislators can't change the tax rates on the books. Come on. If you agree to a certain tax rate, then they tell you we're going from 15 to 40. What do we do as the operator?
I think the big thing that happened, and just from what you said, it's an excellent breakdown, and I'm glad I asked, is they didn't get FanDuel run to the front of the line and say, us too. And now we ended up benefiting big time. We'll be right back.
Russell Wilson listed as quarterback 1 on, of course, every team's got to put out these dopey unofficial depth charts before their preseason games. Wilson listed as 1, but Fields is going to start the preseason opener against the Texans.
I still think they're going to start Wilson, but, if they start Fields, so be it. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I know this. I think they're both talented.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
What is the ceiling for this kid? Now that he's got the money, and we saw something click with him, what is the ceiling for a Jordan Love in this Green Bay team?
Deepest pass target group in the National Football League. 2 stud tight ends. They're legit 5 deep at receivers. 7 bona fide pass targets. Come on, man. This guy could be a stud. Top 5 quarterback.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Say the under has the correct juice to the 6.5 win total for the New York Giants. It's a losing season. It's a bad season in the greater New York area. Is Brian Daboll and is Joe Shane back next year?
As a Giants fan, what are you looking forward to? Absolutely nothing. You're hoping like the Yankees make a long enough run so you can forget about the Giants.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
Consig, man, live with us right here on Sports Grid Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh with you. Dave, let me ask you something, and I don't know if this was something that you did when you were back in the room. That NBA schedule's been trickling out, and they run to set the numbers. The only thing I think is different, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. They pop totals as well. We have Christmas, opening night, a couple of other key spots. I'm not surprised to see spreads. We see that. I was surprised they pop totals. I think you've told me in the past that it's almost kind of like an advertising thing. They'll gladly take your money on a NBA game X number of days away. But are they more my read was maybe they're more confident in their numbers than usual, that they pop totals this far out?
No, the limits are low, and the person that would be making the bet knows exactly the same amount of information as the book putting it up. Just as the book, you get to hold it for literally, 3 months? August, September, October. I mean, Kevin, if you want to make the total yourself and say, hey, I'll make it 220, but I'll give you a nickel to bet it, I might just look at it and say, good, that's fine. So from the book standpoint, confident in the numbers, maybe, but it's really, if you have a good idea of who's going to be on what team, at least the starters, you can kind of get close to the number. And what's the worst that can happen? If we're taking nickels, we open at 220 and it moves to 224. Okay, it's going to be 220 probably in game. So it's not that big a deal.
Yeah. What's funny, though, is this is why I love asking this stuff. On the money lines, from what I just click and quick, you can win 5,000. Spreads, you can win 5,000. Totals, you can win 2,500. Again,
that's good.
Look,
that's good.
I don't want to act like I've been doing this forever, but especially with the basketball stuff, the memory works. They don't usually post these totals, but this is why I asked Dave, because then he goes, limits are low. They're like, yeah, we'll post you the total. You can't touch it for anything that makes it worth it, though. Right?
Right.
You know, and I wonder how much it even gets, kind of touched at all. I haven't talked to you since I was away. I'm not sure we would have been able to get, figured out anyway, but the Olympic stuff.
Yeah.
What was kind of the end result there? Because from a television perspective, the Olympics did very well.
Yes.
What'd you hear from guys out there about how the betting all went out and played out with the Olympics?
Oh, the handle was great. The handle on the men's semifinal, unbelievable. I mean, I was sitting down at the book with some guys. They were playing it. They all had Serbia plus the points. All the guys that I had, some of them had Serbia money line because it was so inflated. And listen, the books did okay. The books did okay. Had one of those teams beaten the U.S. in the men's side, oh boy, that would have been a nice handle landslide, little summer bonus plan. But I mean, the price was what it was, so they didn't get hurt. It just would have been a nice surprise had Serbia or France actually won the game. Women's handle was good, all one-sided. There wasn't a game that they couldn't get a bet on the other side. Literally. Said that was fun. We wrote bets all on one side. I was like, good. So you give the people the lines, the action, the times of the games for at least the semifinals and the finals were perfect. I thought that, it was much better. There was a big handle.
I wonder, though, because I told you this, we talked about this, but people were willingly laying the men's number. But I bet you a few people tacked the women on, right? Freebie, let me get it down.
Oh, yeah.
-4 or 5 is now -253. And then all of a sudden the books were like, we got another chance to take them, right? I don't think anybody bet that women's number straight. It was -1,600, huge number, right? I was with someone, though. It's so crazy, man, who live, instead of the money line, took USA women -1.5.
Oh.
That shot was a tough watch. Shot was a tough watch.
Was that the guy? Was that the guy?
No.
Oh.
No,
okay.
no.
Not that guy.
No.
Okay.
New guy didn't deserve that. Didn't deserve that. I tell you what, on the other side of the table was someone who had over 131.5 live, which put that to 133. It was a mixed bag. It was a mixed bag. I'll be honest. It was something to watch. It was it really. You know what I've been meaning to tell you though. You know they dropped that Aja MVP number. Listen, I know we're removed from this stuff. This is the last time we get to do this. You know they dropped that Aja MVP number. I think before the semifinal to minus 128 for the Olympics because Stewie was playing so well, and it was the first time because we kind of mentioned that the Stewie number was too long, but they must have, as you've said, they must have taken a bet on the Stewie number eventually. Because they did throw the Aja minus 128 number out there. She was minus, I think, 245 going into the final, and then she was, by far and away going to win it with, she had the 20, the double-double, and everything like that. But it did finally happen. They did finally drop that number on Aja.
Wow. Yeah, that had to be one of those, we may need to move that. Just go get a little bit, see if anybody wants to bet it, and just lower that in case the other one wins. You got to do that every once in a while. I mean, if she turns an ankle, something, she doesn't play in the last game, okay. But, I mean, I haven't seen you since either. How did LeBron actually win the tournament MVP? How did that happen?
Well,
shouldn't have been Steph.
I am glad. Listen, Jokic has a much better argument than Steph. The reality is, for the first 4 games, Steph was actively bad. Like, for the first, he was actively bad. Now, he closed it unbelievably well. LeBron led them in every category other than points, where Steph beat him by 2 total. If you believe the MVP had to go on the team that won gold, it was LeBron's. I think there's a Jokic argument. I think it's a losing one. I'll tell you this, though. I thought they were going to give it to Steph. I got very nervous. They didn't, though, which was good to see. We'll be right back live with you here on SportsGrid.
Russell Wilson listed as quarterback 1 on, of course, every team's got to put out these dopey unofficial depth charts before their preseason games. Wilson listed as 1, but Fields is going to start the preseason opener against the Texans.
I still think they're going to start Wilson, but, if they start Fields, so be it. Like, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I know this. I think they're both talented.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
What is the ceiling for this kid? Now that he's got the money, and we saw something click with him, what is the ceiling for a Jordan Love in this Green Bay team?
Deepest pass target group in the National Football League. 2 stud tight ends. They're legit 5 deep at receivers. 7 bona fide pass targets deal. Come on, man. This guy could be a stud. Top 5 quarterback.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Say the under has the correct juice to the 6.5 win total for the New York Giants. It's a losing season. It's a bad season in the greater New York area. Is Brian Daboll and is Joe Shane back next year?
As a Giants fan, what are you looking forward to? Absolutely nothing. You're hoping like the Yankees make a long enough run so you can forget about the Giants.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes! Are you ready?
Let's go!
That's what champions do.
Back with you right here. It's Kevin Walsh, Dave Sharapan. I'm going to set the table for this. Maybe we'll do it Thursday or sometime over the weekend. There's a market out there right now on DK. Over-under for the Big Four conferences in college football. How many teams they get in the playoff?
Oh, boy.
ACC, 1.5. Big 12, 1.5. Big 10, 3.5. SEC, 4.5. Now, I'll say this. We're used to this. We're used to this. The math doesn't add up. Okay? That's not, you know what I mean?
Don't
There's
tell
not that
them.
many spots.
Don't tell them.
We'll get to that at another point. I want to ask you about something.
My DraftKings
School ball
hat on.
today.
We don't
School
get in
ball
trouble.
today.
Please.
Was going against George Kirby. Total was 6.5. Did the books?
Come on.
Did the books need over? Because it's 11-1. It's the fifth inning.
Listen, while you were gone, they keep doing this. They float a 6.5, 6 out there a couple times, and I keep saying it's not Bob Gibson and Don Drysdale. It's not like, what are we doing? And it's not warranted. Now, last night it was Sale and Snell, and it was 6.5, and it went way under. It was never in doubt. Those guys pitched perfectly. Not perfect game-wise, but those were great games by both pitchers. Snell 6, Sale 12 Ks. That's the only time you can really warrant a 6.5. The minimum should be 7, Kevin. I can't believe it.
I have a question for you on Snell. Your numbers right in front of me. Dodgers plus 310. Phillies plus 450. Yankees plus 500. Orioles plus 750. If I put Snell on Baltimore tomorrow, what would their number be?
I mean, we'd have to have about a 2-second conversation and say, make it the same as the Yankees or just under. We'd have to drop it. I mean, I think they become the favorite in the American League. I'd make that argument. I see what's going on. It's not just Yankee bashing. They got a lot of holes. They got a lot of question marks. There's a lot of things happening. So you put Snell behind Burns, I'm good with that.
Teams didn't see it. Really? Teams didn't see that Snell could have been this? Like, he was showing it just before the deadline, and then he threw the no-hitter the game after. And now he legitimately looks like the best pitcher in baseball. I know it's not a year sample size, but it's a 7-start sample size of an ERA. I think that's like below 1. Atlanta's 18-1 to win a World Series right
from
now.
the early part of the season. I would argue that it might be better now to get him. I don't know what anybody was thinking. I would have taken him on any one of the top team rotations as the 2 or the 3. We know we're going to win a game. If you don't want to put him as the 1 because he doesn't go 8 innings, 9 innings. Oh, yeah, by the way, he did that and threw a no-hitter. So, K-Dub, I missed you while you were gone.
Crazy. It's been a while.
You close the show strong. I'll be on with Wetzel. You're the best.
My man.
Just a quick update for our guy. I don't know if they call it is it the crab cake series or something? Like, Washington is leading the Baltimore Orioles 4-2 right now. Just had to let them know.
All right, so make sure you tune in game live. They'll probably be giving out Orioles live money line if I had to guess. I mean, come on now, load them up, get ready to knock them out. Here we go. Look, you know what? Since Dave brought it up, let me bring it up. If Gunnar Henderson does not get to 80 RBI, you know what? He owes me a couple dollars because that would be insane. All right, I mean that would be just totally insane. I mean, this guy has, I think, 2 RBI since the All-Star break. I don't even know what's going on anymore. How is that real? I mean, how is that? And you might be like, oh, you're probably exaggerating. Well, maybe I am, but not by that much. I mean, not by that much. I mean, for the love of God. Can a couple get on in front of him? I mean, when was the last time this guy hit a home run? He has 1 home run since the break. Remember when he was competing with Judge? That guy bats .324 now. Are you kidding me? I mean, are you joking? This Gunnar Henderson, you got to be kidding me, man. I can't believe my eyes. Like, I'm checking in on Seiya Suzuki home run props now to cover the Gunny bets. Are you kidding me? Are you joking? I mean, this can't be real. This guy's sitting at under 70 RBI for like a year now. I mean, can we do the old, like, pitcher doesn't have it, like, fake 15-day IL stint with the kid? Can we do something here? I mean, how do we move him out of the leadoff spot and he doesn't have RBI anymore? He doesn't even, 1 + 1 = 9 or -9. Losing juice left and right. In-game live tomorrow, tonight. What am I saying? I'll see you Thursday.